Cast. The Cast.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Scott McDermott.
I was bit by a black widow in Hamul in my sleep.
Harrison Perkins.
Every muscle in my body is clenching right now.
And
Scott Clark.
You know, I would like to get to know a tarantula.
their mission to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
Good morning, Vietnam!
We'll do it live. No. We'll do it live!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Bam.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Bam. Knock, knock.
I'm on the phone.
I know you are. Knock, knock.
You can fax it over. Yeah, 570 555
491 74
75
line.
0175. Thank you. Bye-bye. It really makes us look unprofessional.
They would never know it was me doing it.
Well, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Wow, what a montage.
So
Never better. Now, I am never better.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Is my
Great morning.
my old boss used to say.
How are you?
I am okay. Oh, not exactly breaking news. But I have something in print I forgot to mention on an earlier episode. It's an article in a Festschrift. It was on the Heidel blog.
Oh, right.
But since on this show we do mention things that we've published, and I haven't published anything for a while. So
Congrats.
it's an article on social Trinitarianism, and it's in Festschrift, which is a collection of essays in celebration, typically published when somebody hits 65 or when they retire, or both, as it happens. I don't think Rich Barcelos is retiring. At least I haven't heard
He's
that.
not. I asked him, and he's not. He's going to keep going.
Okay. He's going to keep going.
Good for him.
So,
Thanks for Rich. Or thankful for Rich.
Yeah,
We like
exactly.
you.
So there is a link on the Heidel blog. I published this. We published this a while back. The article is Social Trinitarianism is not a bonanza for Catholic Christians. And it's in.
It's not?
No.
Oh. I always heard it was.
No, you not for me, you didn't. James P. Butler et al., editors of Faithful Steward, Essays in Honor of Richard C. Barcelos, published by Broken Wharf. And it just came out. It's a collection of essays, and it has essays in there by David Van Druden, John Fesco, James Dolezal, Daniel Scheiderer.
Oh, yeah. Daniel's a great guy.
Glenn Butner.
And Glenn Butner and others. Yeah. So anyway, and mine, as you could tell from the title, it's a play on words, since one of the most prominent advocates of social Trinitarianism compared the Holy Trinity to Pa, Hoss, Little Joe, and Adam on Bonanza.
Wow, you're going to have to bring that down a few generations so that we can understand it.
Well, I did a little explaining in the article for you youngins.
I can't wait to read it again, because I've obviously already read it.
I haven't read it. He shared it with you? I feel left out.
Did I?
Oh, it's not even an article. It's just an announcement.
Yeah, just the.
I just now clicked on it.
Oh, so I actually had read it, and you were making it up.
It says read more about the book, not read the article. Okay, never mind. I may have opposite of told the truth just now.
The opposite of told the truth, yes. Well, you may have misstated things. You were not intentionally.
No,
misrepresenting.
I'm pretty sure I lied on purpose.
We call it a sin. So you sinned.
With everyone knowing it.
Yeah. Yeah, in front of the whole
world.
Several people who listen.
All 10 listeners.
Yeah. Oh, and also before I forget,
Apple Podcast comments.
We promised to read comments. So if you go to Apple Podcasts which is where I see the comments, and you leave a comment, we will read it on the show. Apple Podcasts. Also, while you're there, hit 5 stars. We're back up to 4.9 now. We dipped briefly to 4.8, but now we're back up to 4.9. So keep those ratings. Those ratings help. So, listener, if you haven't done it, pretty much everybody's got access, or most people have access, I guess. A majority of phones are iPhones. So if you have an iPhone and you listen to this podcast, then all you have to do is hit 5 stars. You can rate the podcast, and the more ratings we get, the more visible the podcast becomes. So if they're listening to, some other related podcast, then ours will show up as a recommendation. It helps people find the podcast. It really does.
But don't rate it if you're not going to do a 5. Get out of here.
And if you leave a comment, and we will read it. So we got a comment from T. Henry 1. And she titled this "Thoughtful," and it says the Heidel universe is a staggeringly thoughtful exposition of Reformed theology. You are invited to sit at the table and feast, have your mind fed and your heart warmed. Thank you, T. Henry 1. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Yeah. So we do it. We try to, when I see, I check the comments, and when I see, then I print it out so I don't forget it. It doesn't get lost. I finally figured out how to print it out. I have to log into Apple Podcast, whatever it is. Otherwise, it uses up all the toner in the printer when I print it out from the app. It doesn't work very well for a screenshot. Anyway, we figured it out. All right, are we ready to open the coffer? How are you guys? Other than the fact that Scott McDermott is a liar, what else do we know?
So this is airing May 30th, and good news that I think is worth saying is my friend Cliff Foster passed his ordination exams this past weekend, and in 2 days from listeners' hearing, June 1st, we should be having his ordination and / simultaneous installation service to come be a pastor here at Oakland Hills alongside me.
Fantastic. Cliff's a good guy.
Yep. Thankful for Cliff. Excited to work with him. Hopefully he listens and is encouraged by this. Otherwise,
yeah,
other people will be excited for him and he'll never know.
So, well, I mean, listener, if you have a chance to say something nice to Cliff, say something encouraging, that would be great. Fantastic. Yeah, and so you have an associate now. So that's great.
The OPC does not have the office of associate pastor. So we have another pastor.
Okay, so what's his title?
And we have designated that as pastor of congregational life and outreach to focus on a specific area of the pastoral task.
Okay.
Any OPC congregation that has associate or assistant is fudging just a thing.
Oh, interesting.
We have the office of pastor and no provision for other things. We're fudging too because we titled it. So no criticism, all hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Everybody's fudging.
Sounds like you're a fudger.
So before anybody gets mad at me here, there it is all on the table.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good. That's great. Fantastic. How are you, Scott?
Swell.
Oh, good. Anything new?
No.
How's Thea?
So good.
Okay.
Best baby I've ever met.
All right. Very good. Everything normal, growing, no big developments?
Yes, there are.
You are a natural conversationist. But
I'm not going to announce I'm on a podcast.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I just found out that you hate the Padres. I had no idea. So who is you?
No. I don't hate the Padres.
What? I went to a Padres game the
I hate
other
them with
night
a passion.
with the family, and I was sending pictures because it's a beautiful ballpark, and we had really great seats, and the weather was nice. Although it got a little chilly, but that was fine. We were prepared. And Padres were not prepared. No, they left the starting pitcher in too long. King, I've forgotten his first name.
Michael
King, yeah. And by the time they pulled him, he was throwing about 84 miles an hour, and they were teeing off on him like it was batting practice. So finally they pulled him, but only after he'd given up 4 runs. And then the bullpen did a good job of shutting down the White Sox. It was an interleague game, I guess. So anyway, it was the 9th inning. they loaded the bases, and they had bases loaded, no outs, and they scored no runs. That was very disappointing. And I was not very impressed with Tatis. So I've only been to 2. We went once last year, and then we went the other night. For a team that's, statistically a good team, they weren't terribly impressive. The fielding was fine. The defense was fine. But most of the team is hitting about 230. Only 3 of the starting lineup are hitting over 300. Is that normal, Scott? Maybe that's normal.
Normal today, yes. Normal 10 years ago, no.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Completely unheard of 30 years ago. But baseball has changed quite a bit. It's not about putting the ball in play. It's simply about getting on base. There's the new thing, you've probably heard of it, called Moneyball. And that
this is Moneyball. Yeah.
Almost every single organization. And
hey, the White Sox bunted 3 times. That was exciting.
That's old school right there.
Yeah, I would have said that they were playing small ball. It was fun.
Moving runners over, right?
Yes.
Getting on base, moving them over, driving them in.
That's baseball. That's what I thought. There were a lot of foul balls hit in our direction. That was interesting. And there were a lot of, Chicago had a lot of left-handed hitters. It seemed like most of their lineup hit left, which surprised me. And that put us in some jeopardy. I did not expect quite so many foul balls to come our way. So Harrison's about to fall asleep. We're talking about sports.
No, here's one
athletic contests.
I was a switch hitter.
Were you really?
Yeah.
In baseball?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Come on. Fly swatting.
I didn't want to give anyone an opportunity to misunderstand that. So, all right. At what levels did you play?
Very low. Very low. But yeah. I mean, this was elementary school. I didn't have time to play in high school and that kind of thing. I had a job to work.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there was that aspect that kept me out of it. But yeah, when I did play, I was a switch hitter. I don't know if I could do it anymore, but at the time, I could.
Scott, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Left, all the way.
Okay, so you would have been one of those hitting foul balls in our direction. So one hit the plexiglass to our left at a pretty high rate of speed. I was glad it hit the plexiglass because
in my day, we didn't have no plexiglass.
It was, it's about, 18 inches high, so... That was. You
just had to wear it right in the face.
Yeah, well, I didn't quite know where we were sitting. I would have brought a glove, maybe. Is that considered gauche if you're a grown up to bring a glove to catch foul balls?
I have never heard that word before. Gauche?
Uncouth.
The thing is, the word gauche is becoming a little bit gauche.
It's definitely couth. You can do it. It's couth.
Okay, because I know there are rules about wearing jerseys and things. We've discussed that before.
If you don't want to get hit in the dome, you should bring a glove. If you have children with you, you should have them bring gloves so you can all get in on it.
Yeah.
It's very couth.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I have been at a game where there have been that many foul balls. We used to go to the Omaha Royals once upon a time, fairly often when I was a kid, the AAA club. Now the Storm Chasers, but when I was a kid, they were the Royals. That's the Kansas City Royals Farm Club. So that was the sort of default team for which we cheered.
Just looking at the roster of the White Sox, they are mostly left-handed, which is rare.
Yeah, that was really interesting. It's like, Barb was noticing it. Like there's one, because we were starting to draw a correlation between the foul balls rocketing towards our direction and the fact that they were hitting left. So
most of their starters and most of their bench are left-handed.
Well, that's interesting. Well, they won. They pretty much smoked them. The Pods were really never in that game, and no home runs. Okay, are we ready to open the coffer?
I mean, how are you?
No.
I'm fine.
Okay, now we're ready.
I'm fine. Just I got to as we're recording. There's this week and next for the semester. So home stretch.
The earlier lead up, you had to. I'm doing very okay. I was like, well, I thought you were going to be. Thought it was going to be a report on a great week, and then.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. I need to get more exercise. It's been hard to carve out the time to get some exercise. I went for a run Saturday a little bit. I didn't run the whole time, but I ran more than I have for a while. And then I was sore. So,
Not to derail us,
yeah.
but I just got a walking pad, which is like a light duty treadmill, and I have a standing desk, and I just walk at my desk while I work now.
Oh, interesting. A walking pad. Is this it's not an automated treadmill. It's a manual treadmill. Is that what I'm?
No, it's electronic.
Oh, okay.
You plug it in and it's got the,
Oh,
it is a
nice.
treadmill. It's just, it doesn't have a front
Okay.
piece or anything like that. It's just a flat, pretty
Okay.
short, like you
Sure.
couldn't run on it because it's not
Yeah.
strong enough and it's not long enough to get a running
Yeah.
stride, but I just walk
Yeah, you can walk on
hours
it.
a day now.
They have some that are just manual, like they have rollers, and you can stand on them and walk. So I've used those
What?
at gyms before. All right, let's open the coffer.
Call or text now 760-618-1563.
Just follow up on route to mission station.
1943, Roger.
I know what you're thinking. You think I've been pulled over because I've been a bad boy. That's not true. I'm just on a ride-along to support our men and women in blue. I admit I am just a little confused, though. I expected to be in the front seat, but I'm in the back seat, and the doors are locked. Well, I'm sure we'll get this sorted out when we get to the station. Spending time with cops reminds me that we live in a fallen world, and that people need the gospel, and they need churches to preach the gospel. And that's why the HRA exists, to help the church recover the Reformed Confession and to help others discover it. Won't you help us help you? Hit the donate button or send a tax-deductible check to Heidelberg Reformation Association, 1637 East Valley Parkway, number 391, Escondido, California, 92027. It's not bail money, I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
Gracious, hello. Have I reached the party to whom I am speaking?
Hello, Dr. Clark, Dr. Perkins, and McScottrick. My name is Dylan. I have 2 questions for you today. An easier, fun one to kind of get us started, and a more serious one that resulted in me wanting to contact the show. Firstly, what books are you guys currently reading? I'm trying to finish up The Question of Canon by Michael Kruger before I move on to a small little book titled Reformed Covenant Theology, A Systematic Introduction, which I'm sure will be delightful. But my main reason for contacting the show today is because of an interaction I had in Sunday school a couple of weeks ago, where we were doing a lesson on Genesis 3, and a question came up at my table, which was, what exactly was Adam and Eve's first sin? I consulted the Westminster Shorter Catechism, question 15, which reads, what was the sin whereby our first parents fell from the estate wherein they were created? Answer, the sin whereby our first parents fell from the estate wherein they were created was their eating of the forbidden fruit. However, upon reciting this, a brother in Christ mentioned our Lord's words in Matthew 5:27-28, where he states you can commit adultery against a person by looking at them with lust in your heart. So my question is there a tension here? Is it appropriate to say that Adam and Eve sinned when they ate the apple, or when by their own volition they decided to eat the apple, or in other words, ate the apple in their hearts? My initial thoughts were perhaps that the covenant of works might change how we are to think about this, but that's kind of a gut reaction. So I wanted to contact you guys and see what you might think about it. Thank you for your continued ministry and for your devotion to this series.
Well, thanks for calling, Dylan. And listener, you can call the show anytime at 760-618-1563, or you can send us, as Dylan did, a voicemail. Just record it on your phone, a voice memo, and email it to heidelcast@heidelblog.net. We get it in crystal clear audio. But it's fine if you call too. That's fine. That works out great. So, what are you reading, boys? That was the first question.
I'm reading a book called The Godly Family, Essays on the Duties of Parents and Children.
By whom?
It's a collection of essays.
Who edited it?
This comes from Soli Deo Gloria Publications. The essays are from Samuel Davies, Philip Doddridge, Thomas Houston, George Whitfield, Samuel Worcester,
okay,
Arthur Hildersham. It's, nice little book. I'm doing some teaching right now on family, how to lead your family,
Oh,
how you should
nice.
raise your children, things like that.
Okay.
And I've been picking up a lot of these kind of books.
Was this something that Don Kistler put together?
I actually don't see any other names.
No editorial attribution.
I don't see any.
Okay, that's nice. So that's a collection of essays from
Gary
sounds like-
Ezzo.
Oh, okay. Mostly Puritan writers.
Is that EZZO?
Yeah.
And you said you're Italian.
What do you mean?
Ezzo.
Ezzo.
Ah, Enzo. Okay, that's good to know.
It's a name that I don't associate with Puritan writers.
Because it's Italian.
Okay.
So I know.
Yeah.
And then I'm reading bits and pieces of Gurnall. I'm probably saying it wrong, Harrison. Gurnall.
Yeah, that seems right.
Oh, I said it right. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure.
I wouldn't have corrected you except for the whole debate we had about whether you're really Italian before.
Well, I didn't say I'm Italian. I said I'm Italian American.
And so you're reading the Christian in Complete Armor. Is that it?
That is correct. How did you know?
Oh, well, that's the one that people normally read.
That was the rule in the previous generation of the PCA. You had to have a blue blazer, khaki pants, and William Gurnall.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That is so cool. I didn't know that.
Is that no longer the rule? I mean, khaki pants and blue blazer is pretty much standard.
Probably a different book
for-
now.
Oh, okay.
And a book by our friend Pastor Howell Jones. Dr.
very
Howell
good.
Jones.
Yeah. What's the title?
Isaiah's Oratorio. Isaiah.
Very good.
The prophet Isaiah.
His commentaries on Philippians were very helpful for my the podcast series, the Heidelcast series through Philippians. So
His class on prayer and the Holy Spirit
I
is
should have said
the
that.
best class that I ever took at
Isn't
seminary.
that great? Yeah.
He
He's the
literally
best.
took you to the throne of God simply
Yeah.
with his voice. Literally, not figurative or spiritual.
Yeah.
Literally.
When he would pray before chapel, before giving devotions, it was a wonderful experience. So, yeah.
It's all about experience.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we don't believe in experience at all. So, Pastor Dr. Harrison Perkins, what are you reading?
Get ready for a stack.
No, interesting. I just finished something and need to run up to new things, actually. So
He's read everything, so now he's going to write things.
I just finished preaching through Genesis this past Sunday. So I am, the next big thing, I'm going to do a couple of Psalms, but the next big thing is the book of Revelation. So reading a couple of things. So I'm a little bit into Tom Schreiner's little book, like on the theology of Revelation, which has so far had some helpful categories and big bucket things to consider. I also want to read here on my desk the Trinity in the book of Revelation by Brandon Smith. I'm excited about that.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Is that Baker?
IVP Academic Studies in Christian Doctrine and Scripture, edited by Van Hooser, and this one was Dan Trier, however you would like to
Trier?
pronounce that.
So I'm confused. Are you doing something on the book of the Revelation or on the topic of Revelation?
I'm preaching the book of Revelation.
Okay.
John's Apocalypse. I'm preaching John's Apocalypse.
Okay.
And
All right.
So
there's some wonderful commentaries, one of which you mentioned, right?
I don't know. I was talking about books that were kind of more. I haven't mentioned any commentaries yet.
Who did the big? Oh, come
Greg
on.
Beale did the huge one.
Yeah, Beale. Yeah, Beale's huge commentary. Dennis Johnson has a I think a helpful commentary.
Colin Hamer, didn't he do a?
Yeah.
So the 5 that I have to use, this is kind of like more thematic reading that I'm doing to get my head around. Okay, what are some ideas to keep in mind as I go? The 5 that I have are 2 by Greg Beale, the big one and the shorter one. Joel Beakey, Dennis Johnson, Triumph of the Lamb, and Thomas Schreiner in the Baker New Testament thing. So I'm looking forward to that. I have started reading, this is cheating in some ways, but I think listeners should be excited about these. Dale Ralph Davis, his commentary on the Joseph narrative. I am reading that, but that is not out yet. I'm reading it to endorse it. So
Pre-publication.
Yeah, and another book by, well, I probably shouldn't spill the title because I don't think but John Fesco has sent me one of his forthcoming books to read, and I'm very much enjoying that.
I like that he said one of.
Yeah, I was just going to say one of his forthcoming.
Because
he has 4 forthcoming.
There is a list.
Have you looked at Meredith Klein's commentary that Danny Ollinger compiled?
I have it. So I'm getting started. This is the next thing. So
Okay.
I have looked at very little so far.
And then the Letters to the 7 Churches of Asia in Their Local Setting by Colin J. Hamer. I believe it's
Okay, I'll
Hamer.
have to look into that.
Is it Italian, Harrison? How many M's
I
are
don't
in it?
know. You
Just
tell me.
one.
I know I can't see the name.
It was published in 86 by JSOT. Anyway, I got that by accident, but it was a happy providence. It was very expensive. I accidentally ordered it when I was in seminary. I just asked the bookstore guy if he had it, and he thought I wanted him to order it. So he ordered it, and then tells me the book I ordered is in, and I went in. I didn't order any book. And it was, in 1986, it was $30, which was a lot of money back then. Anyway, but it was a good purchase, and I found it very helpful for locating the Revelation in its original context, because there's a lot of bad work. What's his name? Anglican Reconstructionist probably did the worst thing I ever read on the Revelation. It was a preterist commentary, and I can't think of his name. Anyway, I think it's pretty important to do good background work on the Revelation because otherwise you have these preterists who want to sweep the Revelation off the table by saying it was all fulfilled in AD 70, but they don't account for the original setting at all.
That's $90 today, by the way.
Is it really? I guess that's inflation.
$88.94, somewhere between $88.94 and $90.39.
Well, and it's out of print too, so that's probably partly why it's so expensive.
I got that book for not a crazy price a couple years ago.
Oh, interesting.
When I was still in seminary. That's what I mean by a couple.
Oh, that was more than a couple of years ago.
Well, it feels like a couple.
Yeah, those are ticking on, my friend. Yeah. I feel them more and more.
I have a couple of gray hairs on my beard. Just a couple.
Just a couple, yeah. So I'm always reading so many books, just doing like Harrison and you, Scott, just doing different things. I just finished, working through a bunch of commentaries on the Revelation or on Philippians. Oh, and by the way, I need to make a correction here. CBS News. That's the old CBS News sounder. Now that CBS is no longer doing radio news, I think I can use that safely.
Or TV news, are they?
Well, that's a question, yes. I was hoping that they were going to, with their new editor-in-chief, that things would be better than they are. But
wait,
anyway.
Did Harrison finish his book stack yet? I don't think he did.
Did you finish, Harrison?
I think that's it.
He was in the middle of it.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
I said, here comes a stack. And he's like, actually, it's only going to be 40 books.
There's
Keep going.
There's 2 that I'm reading, and then was talking about others that I need to read, and then you guys started talking about the things that I should read.
All right, hold on. You had just finished talking about one of Fesco's 10 forthcoming books.
Yeah.
And then
Dale Ralph Davis on Genesis 37 to 50. Yeah. Oh, and Tom Schreiner, the theology of Revelation, the little Crossway book. So 3. But then, want to read Trinity in the Book of Revelation, Brandon Smith, and I have a stack of books about Samuel Rutherford that I do need to read, but have not started yet.
Oh, okay.
He had maybe the best perm in all of Scotland.
Samuel Rutherford?
Well, I don't know if it's a perm, but like the way they did their hair, it was like
I doubt
feathered,
it was
like very 80s, late 80s feathered look. Not a perm.
I don't think they had the chemicals for a perm. Or at least they
But have you seen like George Gillespie and Samuel Rutherford and John Owen? Have you seen their hair?
No, they're all dead and were a long time.
You've not seen the pictures?
Oh, the pictures of them. Yes.
I have, yes.
They would be made fun of non-stop today.
Today, yeah. Yeah.
But in the 80s, in the late 80s, people would have loved it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
As I said, I've been reading a bunch of books on Philippians and always looking at different things. But my reading project for the immediate future, besides stuff I'm doing for the current Heidelcast series, and then I'm getting ready to dive back into 2 Peter. So there's reading for that. But I'm hoping to do a series of interviews with Bob Godfrey. So that's news. So we're still working on getting that set up, but I need to get some reading done before we do it. So I'm starting with a book by, the last name is Weichert.
You need to read to interview Godfrey. He was the former president of Westminster Seminary, California. I can give you the bio.
Yeah. No,
There's no way he did not use curlers. He used curlers.
Possibly. That's possible, I guess. No, we're going to talk about Hitler and Nazism and why young people now, particularly young men, seem to be attracted to fascism, Nazism, and Hitler.
Well, I trust that you'll be non-approving.
No, we're not
So good.
approving. We're both of us are concerned about this, and so that's why we're going to talk about that.
Who likes Hitler?
Actually, I can think of 2 or 3 cases, 2, I think, where people, one up in the Pacific Northwest, a man was recently excommunicated from his church. It was a NAPARC congregation, and he was publicly approving of this stuff. There's a publication that's been...
A pastor?
No. Well, he was an officer. I think he might have been a deacon. And... so there have been cases, and I've heard about a couple of young men that were saying that Hitler was a patsy and that he was set up and that he was a good guy. So there's a resurgent, sadly, tragically, a resurgent neo-Nazi movement, even within NAPARC. I know I don't know if you could call this Nazi, but there's an ecclesiastical trial about which I learned, or investigation anyway, of at least one session about their stance this is in a NAPARC denomination relative to kinism. Listener, if you want to know what is kinism, there are a couple of articles, KINISM, on the Heidel blog, kinism. So I've been writing about that. So anyway, I'm starting with Richard Weichert, Hitler's Religion, the Twisted Beliefs That Drove the Third Reich, published by Regnery. So that's just a starting point. I mean, I read Rise and Fall of the Third Reich in a previous century, probably in 1975, if memory serves. But I haven't read much in the intervening 50 years. I didn't think it was
on that topic.
Who thought
to
it was
be
going
clear, you haven't read much on that topic.
On that topic, yes. Yeah, and I mentioned it to Bob. He said, well, there a few things have been published since that volume, but that was the thing that was the starting point a long time ago. Anyway, I've been collecting stuff. Alan Bullock did a book on Hitler and Stalin, and I thought I should look at it anyway, since I lived in Alan Bullock close. I should at least get to know his work a little bit, and got other volumes. Anyway, I think Hannah Arendt, and some other things. So that's my reading project.
This is the Heidelcast.
All right. The second question had to do with Westminster Shorter Catechism 15.
If I remember the question, it was a good question.
What was the sin whereby our first parents fell from the estate wherein they were created? The sin whereby our first parents fell from the estate wherein they were created was their eating the forbidden fruit.
Yeah. The function of that question is just to establish the basic facts, right?
Yeah, because it follows on the description of sin, the explanation of what is sin, and then so what's the particular sin that caused the fall.
Yeah, I was comparing it with Westminster Larger Catechism 21.
Which says?
Actually, probably 24 and 25. 24, what is sin? Sin is any one of conformity unto or transgression of any law of God, given as a rule to the reasonable creature. And then 25, wherein consisteth the sinfulness of that estate whereinto man fell. And the answer is, the sinfulness of that estate whereinto man fell consisteth in the guilt of Adam's first sin, the want of righteousness wherein he was created, and the corruption of his nature whereby he is utterly indisposed, disabled, and made opposite unto all that is spiritually good and wholly, WHOLLY, inclined to all evil, and that continually, which is commonly called original sin, and from which do proceed all actual transgressions. So it's a little different.
So I actually think question 21 in the Larger Catechism is the one that almost answers the question he has. Our first parents being left to the freedom of their own will.
Through
well, I guess the question is useful. Did man continue in that estate wherein God at first created him? Our first parents, being left to the freedom of their own will through the temptation of Satan, transgressed the commandment of God in eating the forbidden fruit, and thereby fell from the estate of innocency wherein they were created.
Yeah. So, that's where I was going to go. And then I thought, well, maybe we should look at 25. So the freedom of their own will is a material part of the answer. And then temptation of Satan, which is something to which the Heidelberg actually hits both of those notes: freedom of Adam and Eve before the fall, temptation of Satan, and transgress the commandment in eating the forbidden fruit. So it seems to me, at least the way when I was sort of working out how to answer this question, it seemed to me that the discussion is the first sin concupiscence, the traditional way of putting it, or the eating? And then I thought, well, do we even want to set one against the other? Because I think the traditional answer was that it was concupiscence. But then I think, well, why do we have to choose between those? Right? Lust. Concupiscence is lust or desire, a corrupt lust or desire.
Yeah, I think that in this case, we need to account for the differences between pre-fall, post-fall anthropology. And we have a latent impulse towards sin as those who have inherited corruption that Adam and Eve did not have before the fall. And in that respect, was there a long lead up of desire for this before the actual act? I don't see grounds for that personally. It seems like the desire and act were close enough in proximity that we can kind of count them as the same bundle, so to speak, rather than saying it was the desire rather than the doing. I think for that first sin, probably the easiest way to do this is, those were close enough that it's very, what it gains us by thinking through it is probably very small at the end of things.
Okay, Genesis 3:6. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Doesn't it seem that when the divines are answering this question, they're comprehending the whole thing? It seems to me there's a logical relation. We're not really thinking, I agree with you. I mean, temporally, it all happens rather quickly, but logically, we desire something and then we do it, or at least in this case, Genesis 3:6 seems to suggest that she desired it, which is concupiscence, but it's all a complex.
You've said that much clearer than I did. That's what I meant when I said it's a bundle that's hard to separate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. The Catechism doesn't go into great detail. Either one, maybe it's hinted in Larger Catechism 21, maybe as you were suggesting.
The confession also adds, our first parents, this is chapter 6, paragraph 1, being seduced by the subtlety and temptation of Satan, sinned in eating the forbidden fruit.
Yeah, and that's again how Heidelberg speaks of it. And when we define sin in 24, Larger Catechism 24, and I think also in the shorter, it's any want of conformity unto. And so desiring what God had forbidden was a want of conformity unto. But it's the whole thing is treated as in the Catechism as a complex act, or a complex of desires and acts. I don't think we have to choose between them.
Because in this case, I mean, I think one of the things going on in Matthew is if you're indulging your inward desire for sin, you've still sinned even if you didn't do the outward act. But that's actually not the situation in Genesis 3. They had the inward inclination at some point upon which they acted. So it isn't what Jesus is talking about, because it's a situation where they did act upon it. And in that respect, we don't have to parse it down. It's the complex, like you've talked about. And that's helpful in the first, because what if they had resisted? Well, then I don't know, and that's not the situation we have. So we don't have to answer it.
After the desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin. Is that helpful?
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. And tell the listener where you found that.
James 1:15.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a great point, Scott. And I've often thought about and done some teaching. I love the way James explains how sin happens. Can you read a little more widely in that passage? Because I think that's extremely helpful.
Sure. Do you want me to read the surrounding or just the rest of the verse?
Yeah, please. Read a little bit from the context.
Okay. From verse 12 then. Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the Vulgate, and it does use concupiscence. The process is important to know, right? So let no one say when he is tempted, I'm being tempted by God. So you can't blame God for your temptation because God doesn't have the same relation to sin and evil that you do, right? God doesn't tempt anyone, and he himself is not tempted. That's what God's word says. And then James goes on to say, but each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed. So that's a part of the complex of sin, is being lured and enticed, which is why we flee from sin. We flee from evil, and we are careful about what we admit into our brains and hearts through the eyes, through the ears. 15, then desire, right? So there's your concupiscence, right? Lust, a corrupt desire, when it has conceived. And so he's using a metaphor here, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. So even James uses a biological metaphor and describes the whole process of sin as a development. So it's not just one thing. It's characterized here as a complex of steps and a whole process. So I think we're on fairly safe ground there.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
How does the law of God written on the heart of man at creation, the moral law, how does that factor into this?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
Yeah, I think this is actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this, is that even as the standards talk about the first sin, whereby we fell from the estate wherein we were created, was eating the forbidden fruit, there's a long, significant, I think correct, tradition of thinking that this tree of knowledge of good and evil was symbolic as a placeholder for the whole moral law. And, for example, Tertullian, but then followed by a good number of Reformed Orthodox, explain how this act, this sin encapsulated in eating this fruit, broke each of the 10 commandments.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, God said it wasn't Adam's to eat, and so he stole from God by eating it. And by eating, he murdered all of humanity by plunging us into death.
That's right.
I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but that's why I've recorded those things in books for people to go consult.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the moral law is love God with all your faculties and your neighbor as yourself. And Adam, right? So
did neither.
Did neither. So the commandment is, the day you eat thereof, you shall surely die. Don't eat. And embodied in that, or entailed in that, is the whole moral law. Love God with all your faculties by not eating, right? Demonstrate that love, and love your neighbor. That is Eve and all of us. We were all in him. So he did not love us. He did not love Eve, and he did not love God with all of his faculties. So the whole moral law was there, and it was symbolized by that one commandment, and he violated the moral law, which is why we say sin is any want of conformity unto or transgression of the law of God, and the law of God was present there. Was that your question, Scott? I mean, does that get to what you were asking?
I just wanted to make sure we talked about how, yes, the sin was in the eating, but being conceived earlier, it's somehow related to the rest, to the 10 Commandments, to the moral law.
Oh, yeah.
And since it was conceived earlier, in a sense, I think, there's a sense in which it was already broken prior to the eating, even though, but like Harrison's saying, it's all bundled together. So it couldn't be, like, once it was conceived, it couldn't be anything other than it was going to be broken because it had already been conceived. And he had not only broken the command not to eat, but in his heart, he had already decided the moral law is broken. And so it was going to be eaten, and that was the sin. But it was all one thing together. I'm just trying to, how do you work out the 10 Commandments, the moral law written on the heart, being broken in that act?
Yeah.
When are they broken? Are they broken in the eating, or are they broken already in the heart, thus the eating, and then it's all together at once? The whole thing it just falls apart. That's, how do you word it is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. Well, you can treat it analytically or synthetically. So analytically, you can go through and describe the various aspects of sin, or of the sin, of putting something ahead of God. That's idolatry. Right. And I have to think about how the second commandment is violated. I'm sure it is. He doesn't, I mean, he's not.
Here's how you
God
worship me. Here's how you're supposed to honor me. And then he does the opposite.
I have an explanation of that in Righteous by Design, chapter 6, that Tertullian didn't address, or one of them.
Okay. And
I think the difficult one would be the Sabbath. How does that one?
Also, see the next paragraph.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, he failed to worship God and to rest, right? Then he took the Lord's name in vain, implicitly. He dishonored authority, God. He stole. He murdered. He coveted. He lusted. So, so you could go through analytically and explain how, and show, as Harrison has done in Righteous by Design, published by Mentor Books and available from good bookstores or book distributors everywhere, right? Amazon, whatever. A very valuable book. Heavy going in some ways, but very valuable. I've profited. I have not read the whole thing, but I worked through chapter 3 very closely, and it was extremely helpful. In fact, as we're speaking, I just published a piece on some of these issues on the Heidel blog. It just came out today, and I was citing Righteous by Design. So thank you for that good work.
So how would you summarize that then?
So that would be the analytic approach, and the synthetic approach would be to say, considered as a whole. So the whole act, or the whole process, as James describes it, violates the whole law. That would be the treating everything as a whole, the process and the law, right? The whole thing. So you can go at it both ways, analytically or synthetically. You still have a puzzled look on your face.
Oh, that's just how I look normally.
You have a resting, puzzled face. Okay, they took a picture of me at the game, and I had a very serious look on my face. And there was the billboard, or the big, what is it?
Jumbotron.
Jumbotron, yeah. There's an amazing amount of information on the various, electronic boards and things. The speed of the pitches, anyway, all that stuff. It was pretty overwhelming, all the music and noise. But I was, looking at all this stuff, taking it all in. And I had this, there was a sign up there about objectionable behavior at the park. If somebody is behaving badly, you're supposed to rat them out to the people who are in charge. I don't know, what do they call those? The people standing nearby, ushers, whatever they are.
Narcs?
I don't know what they're called, what their office is.
For me, and also for Dylan.
Yes.
Can we restate the question?
Well, you just did very well.
Oh, okay. You've got the covenant of works, you've got the eating, and you've got what Jesus says about you've already sinned by lusting in your heart. These two things together. So when does the sin occur? Does it occur in the being seduced, the temptation, in the eating, or all at once? Can we just sum it up in one sentence?
I think the answer is all of the above.
Okay.
So you can go at it analytically and look at the various aspects, but the better answer is the synthetic answer, that it's all of the above. So that's why. So when I originally sort of rephrased the question, I said the question before us is whether the original sin is concupiscence or whether it's the act of eating. And I don't like the distinction. In other words, I don't accept the premise of the question that we can pick one or the other, or that we have to pick one or the other, because I don't think Scripture presents it that way, and we don't confess it that way. I don't mind analyzing it, but I would not answer the question by picking one or the other.
Now, I know there's a lot of literature on concupiscence and with respect to this, but why only concupiscence?
Well, I mean, that's the traditional way of describing what he was asking. The desire to eat, that's concupiscence.
Because it's the word desire.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Lust, desire, an illegitimate lust, illegitimate desire.
Yeah, because it almost reframes the whole thing as just a violation of the seventh commandment rather than the whole thing.
Well, no, it's not sexual. It's not, I mean, it can be sexual, but it's not just sexual. You can be concupiscent relative to any number of things.
Okay, then I misunderstood concupiscence all these years then.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's the way it is frequently used. It's frequently used in the context of sexual sin or the seventh commandment, right? But it's not just that. You can be concupiscent to a watch that somebody else is wearing, right, or whatever.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go to seminary now. I think I'm almost ready.
So the way the question is framed wants us to pick one or the other, and I've been arguing that I don't think we have to, or even that we should.
Thanks for the great question, Dylan.
On the basis of James 1, that you quite brilliantly brought to our attention. So I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
We need to meditate on that passage more. I need to meditate on that passage more, because I mean, when you're battling sin manfully, as we're meant to do, and womanfully, right? Then you need to know what's going on. You need to know who the enemy is. All right, we have three enemies that we're fighting: sin, the flesh, and the devil. And so we need to understand what's happening. And you want to be understanding that there's a lot going on. It's not just a simple act. It's a complex process.
Righteous by Design, Chapter 6. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So, listener, if you don't have that book, first of all, what's wrong with you? Second of all, get it and read Chapter 6. Read the whole thing.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow for more from the Heidelcast, brought to you by HeidelbergReformationAssociation.org. Don't forget, when the coin in the coffer clinks, the cost of bandwidth shrinks. Copyright Heidelberg Reformation Association. All rights reserved. This is a Heidel Media production.
The best podcast